Hi, anybody who's there. Gonna paint the apple in watercolor. Uh, we're gonna start with the lightest color, which is like right here. It's like not quite white. It's got a hint of yellow green. Today I'm gonna try something a little different, which is to exaggerate the colors because it's got faded colors. So if we exaggerate the colors when we're done, we should have something, more bold. So start out, I'm going to say match these, that light yellow that's there. There's a dot here and right here, there's a thing, and there's a highlight here. We're going to leave no paint on the paper for that highlight. Now we're going to mix a slightly different yellow in, which is more of a cadmium yellow, just to get a variation on the color. What we're doing is, what's behind all those red splotches, and so I'm gonna put some water and just kind of. This is going to be the size of the apple here. Um, go back to the other yellow. This one's called Hansa yellow. I think in most watercolor sets, lemon yellow would be good for this uh, part. All right, there. This is my first line that follows the contour of the apple. That's a since this apple has these contour lines that follow the outside, we're gonna follow them, and that's gonna help us to have the perception of depth and circumstance. So now I'm just going to sort of soften these lines here. I'm still leaving these little spots of white. So, that's going to sort of punctuate the surface. And here I'm going to get more of the cadmium yellow here for this side. This is serious budget paper I got here. It is not going to be your absolute best watercolor because the paper is like a budget paper. But, a lot of people say don't even bother doing budget paper. Just stick with the stuff that costs $10 a sheet. But, I have this paper, so that's why we're going to use this paper. And so it's a bold yellow here. So this area is much lighter, and even though we're exaggerating the colors, we still want to be conscious of light and dark on the apple. So I'm putting here, just blotting up. So we do have the incidence of that color, but that it's not going to be so. I mean, it's got to be lighter than everything else is the main thing. So here, let's see. I think we got a good thing there. Now, taking a wet brush, wet the brush, remove excess water, and then we're just going to go here to soften that line. So we still got this hard line. That's a good hard line to have because at the base, we really want to bring out the base. When we put in a shadow, having that white line right there where there's no paint is going to really help us with depth. What's next? Well, actually, next we should let that dry. So, while it dries, let's see what else we got here. Such as my Arches watercolor pad, that would be a good thing to find. Well, here is a, this thing was really cheap. I don't know, like $2 or something. So, it's a pain to get the thing off. So why don't we just try another one, but bold and trace amp, and for that's French for very simple. So here we're just gonna scribble on a yellow. This will be our like super fast one. So we put the yellow, great, and let's put something about a shadow. Again, here in the shadow, I left these white things. That's gonna be a real plus as we go, because you know that will sort of punctuate the shadow. And so here, let's see, put here, we got an actual kind of like gray background here. I'm going to cool down the background, mix some blue with this gray. So that's actually more green, but you know, cooler colors in the back is a good rule of thumb. Put some blue in there. So it doesn't look very cool, but whatever, that was, it got some stronger blue. Okay, I'm trying to hit that with blue to say that this is farther away than this. So in order to do that, we want to warm up the front area. Mixing red with this gray here. So, you know, I think that definitely looks like it's in front. And then this, now we got cotton paper here. Hopefully we can remove this thing. Hopefully, let's see. So I put water in, and now I gotta squeeze the water out of the brush. And yeah, it came out pretty good. With cotton paper that works. Doesn't work so good with wood pulp paper. So now let's let that dry. So we have two going at once. Oh, hello there, Glam and Glow. Hello, Aurora. Hello, Healthy Living with Archana. Thank you both and all to come visit. We're painting this apple from life. I'm sorry I don't have a photograph today. I mean, it'd be nice if I had a photograph and people could see exactly what is happening. Well, that's dry. This is dry. You can see the contours of the apple. You know, these stripes that go like this, and that is, that's why I picked this apple, because if we can capture those stripes, the apple's gonna look, you know, nice and round. And so what we started out with was a background, which is just yellow here, and it's kind of a golden yellow there. And I said we're going to exaggerate the colors, because these colors are kind of pastel, you know. It'd be better if it's nice and bright. So anyway, using I don't know if you guys have extra brushes, but we used a 14 brush to do this stuff, and now I'm moving to the 6 brush, and that's about this big if you're going to try this at home. So there's a lot of different reds in there, you know. I mean, there's this one, and then there's darker, and then this is kind of a shadow down here. So one critical thing is as we do the this here is a very cheap paint. It's called Mei Ling. This used to cost $16. Now it costs $20. See, they have all those different reds. So that's a nice, easy thing for apple painting with red, because each one of these reds slightly different. And I think we will use this for the apple painting here, since we're on budget paper. Let's use budget paint. So I'm going to start out with the lightest red, and let's just see if we can get a couple of these lines. So there we go. And then, so now I would almost put a line here, but no, we don't want to put the same red here and here, because the same red's going to look the same distance away from the eye. So we need to put different reds at different levels. So let me just put one more right there, and then let's try one here for this. I don't know if that's showing up on the image you guys got. Okay, great. So it's tempting to go do a whole bunch of lines with one color, but we're gonna resist the temptation. Now I got a darker red, so let's just see. This one's a little bit different, and looking good. Okay, now I'm going to see about a very fine hairline line. Let's see how well. It's not very hairline, is it? Okay, so you can see the different this light's red is lighter than that, so you can see the difference. You can see how it looks like it's at a different distance away. I don't know if it's looking farther or nearer, but you can definitely see it's looking like a different distance away from the eye. So that is an illustration of why we want to use different reds for different places. And when we get to be experts, we're going to know exactly what color looks farthest away. I mean, I have an idea. Okay, so here we're trying to go with a very fine line, and then let's try right here. I'm going to take the marker here and just basically I want to show that what we're trying to do with these stripes is something like this. If that looks anything 3D, this is the apple, and what we're trying to do with these red lines is sort of this kind of contour. Okay, so then when we get put some green in just for illustration purposes. So that is hopefully going to give us the apple looking round. So I mean, if you're really a beginner, you can definitely draw something like that with pencil and have a pattern guide sitting right there. But I don't know, for me, I can picture that even though it's invisible to the naked eye, when I look at this shape, I see that pattern, and I don't draw it first. Personally, I think you get a looser, more lifelike paint from life than you do if you draw first. When you draw first, I mean, it's cool, nothing wrong with that, but For me personally, it just seems more like it is restricting. It's more like, okay, and a paint by number coloring book, and I'm not throwing shade on coloring books or paint by number. Oh, hi, Kathy. Thank you for joining us. Happy birthday to your sister if she recently turned 45. And hello, Rexu TV. Okay, thank you for popping by for my exciting and thrilling apple painting from life watercolor. Can I call this a tutorial? I don't know. Definitely real-time watercolor paintings. Anyway, so we're cruising along. We got the two apples happening. We are trying to capture this kind of a form where, you know, it's shaped like an apple, and we want to get depth. And I don't know if anybody saw the onion I did yesterday. There's like 40 minutes of mostly real-time video, how to achieve an onion just like that, and for paint from life also. I got a couple other videos if you like to paint apples, pears, or onions. That's mostly what I've been focused on. I like those things because you can, you know, you can paint from life, not a photograph. And when you paint from life, there's a natural energy, you know, which is visible, and it comes out when you paint from life. Paint from a photograph, there's not really the same living energy in the photograph. It's a flat, um, you know, object, and a perfect painting of a photograph should look flat because the photo is flat and you painted the perfect painting. Perfect painting of a 3D object should look 3D and full of life because you used the you know, reference. Anyway, let's keep moving. A lot of talking and not a lot of painting. Here goes. I'm trying to see if there's okay, anyway. Gonna try to hit more contour lines. I'm gonna take the orange. I explained before, I'm using these budget paints. It's like $20 for all those paints. It's gorgeous paints, to be honest. They if you look at my channel, the first at least 800 paintings I did watercolor with those exact paints. There's my real paints now are Daniel Smith, which I love, but those paints are really good. So, like I said, we're trying to break up the lines here, the contour lines that are following the circumference of the apple. We're trying to use different reds, and in this case, just different colors. We got the orange coming out here, and the most important thing about making these lines is don't use the same color all the way around. See, now I have like 4 different colors. This one, this one, this one, and this one. And, you know, if you look, you see that they all look like they're in different positions, because ultimately we want, you know, down the road, we want this one to look farther away from anything right here, because that is going to give us our 3D look. So that's enough for that color. You know, if we have like 30 different colors, I think that'd be great, but I don't know if we got that many. Just checking out the apple. Go here. So, you know, this color is definitely feeling that's coming forward. I'm going to try some very light lines to Alright, so that's a little dark, tracks the eye. We do need to get some fuzz stuff happening here, so I'm trying to bleed that out. And let's see, maybe a little bit more right here. So this might look pretty dumb right now, but after we get a few layers on, stuff like this is the kind of stuff that's going to give us the perception of depth. I'm also going to try to put a little hint here. Another trick is to, you see the way I left this yellow right there? That kind of variation in tone also is going to help us as we continue the painting to have the illusion of depth. I'm going to maybe just take this, go down like that though to accentuate this thing. It's already looking kind of like, you know, the shape of the apple, right? Just with these simple lines. Okay, so what else? Now I'm going to try a darker red, but very watered down. Well, actually, this is kind of a hot pink red, but so let's just try to put it a couple places. Oh yeah, man, look at that. And now I want to put something up here, but it's definitely not going to be that red, because why? Because this red is going to be closer to the viewer than what's back here. So usually a cool color is, you know, appears to be farther back. So I'm just going to just to be silly, I'll put a cool color back here. Just to say, hello, I'm farther away. You know, it's a fictional color, but so another thing, you know, shadows. We want the shadows to, we don't want to use black, that's for sure. So having a cool color here. You can get some red on there later. So that went a little overboard. So I'm gonna just try to remove that. I put water with the brush. I dry out the brush. Now I go back in with the dry brush, and that removes the paint. And try to remove a little more. Same process. You put a little water. Now this, you get high quality paper, the cotton watercolor paper. This process works a lot better, but that worked pretty good. And do it again right here, because you know this is a real fictional thing to have the blue back there. So I don't know if that's so great, but we're gonna see later. The way the paint is drying right here, that is because it is wood pulp paper. Just trying to sort of smear that around, get a more natural look. Try to just fix up the edge. So I don't know if it's such a great idea to be using the blue up there, but it definitely looks farther away than that, right? So I guess that's a win. So all right, so here I'm gonna see. I got kind of a red with ochre here. Just want to have another color to put, so this is going to be slightly different, I hope. When we do the shadow, technically down here, this whole area here is shadow. So, you know, we don't want to be, you know, mixing black to do the shadow. So this one, that shadow is yellow ochre. I'm going to just kind of go here. I'm leaving this strip of yellow at the edge, because like this white here with no paint, we do want this bottom edge to really pop when we put in a shadow. And you know, if you ever look at an HD TV super close up, like, you know, a half-inch away from the picture, you will find that you know, let's say it's a picture of an apple on the TV, you will find a super hairline white border around the thing, and that's what makes it, you know, pop from a distance, and well, it looks so HD. It's having that high contrast, and we are kind of, I mean, I've never seen anybody else do that or say to do that, but I always do it because look at right there. That really pops that area, right? Uh, it, this thing is definitely like right in front. It's you know, more like right here. It pops but soft. Right here it pops and it's shouting hello. I'm a different object than what's right there. Anyway, hey, that's coming out pretty good. I'm gonna take a little break here. There's the view I have. Here's what we got so far. I think it's coming along nice. Please stop back in a little while. And thank you all for the visits and the comments. Much appreciated. Art Fun, paint the apple from life.